The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss how you can grow indoors all winter long, as well as lawn maintenance for the fall, which you got to get done before the cold hits. And our guest is arborist expert Jessica Skoff, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, whether you're listening to us on one of the 18 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2022 through our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, podcast replay, in-studio video replay, radio app, however you're capturing the program. Thank you so much for doing that. I am your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. A couple of ways in which you can participate in the program outside of just listening and tuning in and downloading and however you're doing that is you can give us send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or if you would like to give us a call, you can do that on the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods. And that number, toll free, coast to coast, is 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-7469.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet, and it doubles as a wok. Best of all, the skillet and stockpot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's 2 pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less. If you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. Supplies limited, so order yours now at proclamationgoods.com.
All right. Well, we're going to grow and talk about growing indoors over winter, and this segment is sponsored by our good friends at Happy Leaf LED Grow Lights.
This segment is sponsored by Happy Leaf LED Grow Lights, probably made in the USA. A grow light for beginners or advanced indoor gardeners. They have universal use LED recipe. That means you can turn it on and watch your leafy greens, herbs, vegetables, any plant really, grow and thrive. It's the anywhere, anytime garden. A professional grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. No fans, no motors, just plug in and grow. Find out more and visit happyleafled.com, and you can use code JoeyHolly and you can save 10% off orders of $90.
And it's not just a grow light. It's not just, they're just talking about another grow light. We have had the Happy Leaf LED grow lights now, 8-9 years, and we have had them growing over our indoor Tiny Tim tomatoes since March 9th of 2021. Yes, we have 3 Tiny Tim tomatoes in root maker grow bags, 1 gallon root maker grow bags in the grow room, and the lights come on at 8 in the morning. They go off at 10 at night, and we have cherry tomatoes, and we've had them, and we've documented this on our YouTube channel, which if you want to get that, it's the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener on YouTube. You can see all of that video, all the videos, and what you see, what's going on right now in the studio too, in replay.
It gives off like a pinkish hue,
right?
Pink or purple hue, and sometimes
that's the older one. We've got the older models,
the older models. But sometimes, like if our cat I take a picture of him and he's near it, he's got a white chest and
it's
he looks
pink.
kind of pink.
Yeah.
It's cute.
So Happy Leaf LED grow lights, made in America, made in the upper Midwest, made in the Chicago area. Determine your location. Determine a location to do this in your house, in your heated basement, in your climatized garage or shed. This is not something that you're just going to do on the back porch in the middle of January.
Yeah, you want to consider that you're going to be using that location for
just this.
For just this, however long. You want something that you can get to easily and comfortably. So if you put it in a a hard to reach place.
A corner where you walk through the door and the door closes behind you and you got to bend over and twist one way to get, it's not going to work.
Or maybe it's where your spouse stores their indoor plants, or not indoor plants, but they bring something in from the outside during the winter, and then you're blocking their area, they're blocking your area, whatever. Just make sure that...
Create an area.
Yeah. Consider, what your pets might do if you have tiny children. Keep that in mind as well.
Or incorporate the children in this whole process too. Drainage is a key to this. Drainage is the key to any house plant, any vegetable, any fruit that you're growing. If you don't have drainage, your plant, unless it lives in a bog or it's a cattail, it's probably going to die because it can't get the oxygen. There's too much. It's going to drown. So you want to have proper drainage, whether you make the holes and then create some type of pan to catch the reservoir, the remaining water that drains out of it, or you have grow bags that naturally wick the water out and wick it up as needed. Drainage is important. Grow what you know you can consume and what you can grow indoors, Holly. Let's not try to grow pumpkins indoors. We did many years ago.
What did we grow?
Many years ago, we had an indoor grow tent from a company that no longer is operational. And we grew cucumbers. We had to hand pollinate the pickled cucumbers, and you harvested a cucumber on Christmas Day.
And a tomato.
And
I ate like a tomato sandwich for breakfast.
On Christmas Day, yeah. That was the video's online in a series, but that company no longer is operational. But we want to. It's all based on where you set this up and what space is available, and what your expectations, your realistic expectations are. You can grow Tiny Tim tomatoes. You can grow lettuce. You can grow spinach. You can grow peppers. You can grow a lot of things indoors. Many people in the winter months will gravitate towards leafy greens or microgreens.
Right. And this makes a lot of sense. It gives you an opportunity to grow something quickly.
Right. Quick turnaround.
And it's you can grow an abundance of it easily, and it gives you something fresh. So it makes sense to grow those microgreens or some sort of leafy green.
Because a microgreen is different than a sprout, growing sprouts.
Right. Microgreens are basically those tiny little, they look like miniature spinaches, lettuces.
Seedlings.
Yeah, little seedlings. And then sprouts look like sprouts. They're more of like, they look like a plant stem.
And sprouts are not grown in soil, and microgreens are grown in some type of medium.
Yeah.
And the turnaround's fairly quick for both of them. But
so yeah, you want to think about what you're going to eat. You might decide to grow microgreens, but if you're the only one eating them and nobody else does in your household, then you might have a lot quickly.
And, there's no wrong answer to, can I grow this indoors? Well, to some extent. Reasonable things in growing indoors based on the space. Keep that in mind. Keep a schedule. Just because you plant the seeds, just like Mother's Day, you see all the hang baskets and everybody, happy Mother's Day, hang basket. 2 weeks later, drive down the road of any city and you'll see all the hang baskets thrown next to the trash can because somebody forgot to water them. Now, if you had the Happy Leaf LED, you wouldn't have to, or no, you had the tree diaper, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But that it's just a routine. 2 weeks later, most of them are out by the dumpster.
Right. And then, so then the next thing.
So what would you recommend on a schedule? Keeping a schedule, meaning?
Just keep a schedule, for harvesting. Especially if you're growing microgreens, you want to harvest them when they're ready, and then you harvest them often. Or also plant them. You might plant 1 row or 2 rows, and then after you harvest some of that, you might plant another row and kind of keep it a succession. But yeah, so that's one. And keep a schedule for watering. You might think just like the the hanging baskets. Yeah. You might plant your microgreens, and then you're like, oh, I forgot. There
is a point of no return when the thing's so dry.
Right.
There is, and we've all done this, that we forgot to water, and they're all wilted, and you hit them with the water, and they do come back. They're not happy, and you've damaged them internally, busting the cell walls of the plant, but you don't see a dramatic effect about it. With the microgreens, the smaller the plant, the less time it takes for that thing to dry out and die. The other thing you want to be knowledgeable about when it comes to growing indoors is if you're growing outside of sprouts in a jar, in a mason jar or microgreens in a tray or a pot or a cup is the spacing of what you are growing. You still have to have spacing. You can't cram 9 things in a 10 by 20 inch flat. It doesn't work that way. You have to be knowledgeable. If you can only plant 2 things, but give them the proper spacing, then that's what it is.
Right. And that's something you definitely want to keep in mind. Then I think another thing to keep in mind is that you could experiment with hydroponics or passive hydroponics, see how that goes.
This is different than, this is not the fish.
No, that's aquaponics.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is using water as a medium for the roots, and then you are adding some sort of food to the water, some sort of plant food, essentially. And a lot of people do this with a passive way where they don't have the filtration, they don't have the pump, etc. They just do it in a jar with a little net cup and the
And happyleafled.com, they've got a lot of videos. That is what they experimented with and found great success in addition to growing in the soil like we've talked about, Holly. Both of them are very effective when it comes to growing things indoors. And when you grow things indoors, you are the environment. You can control the light, the heat, the cool. You can control all of that. What you can't do outside in the controlling of that, you can control indoors.
Right. And I think it's fun. I think it's something to do when it's...
You're not going to have enough to can or anything like that.
No, but it keeps you kind of... winter can get long and it feels like it's stretching along, and this kind of gives you something to do. Yeah.
So with all that being said, happyleafled.com, use coupon code Joey Holly and save 10% off your orders of $90 or more. That expires at the end of the year, 2022. And certainly happy with our product. We've never had an issue with any of the lights, and they're made in America.
So another great product.
Another great company, Walton's Incorporated.
Yeah. We know you care about where your food comes from.
Or you should.
You should. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's Inc., you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make tasty snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to make you the best.
It's not just meat. It's just not meat sticks. They teach you how to make sausages. They teach you how to make all of that stuff. Yeah.
But they also, they have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, seasoning. They have like tasty condiments.
I think it would be easier to list what they don't have versus what they do have.
I mean, literally everything but the meat, and vegetables. You can use code GROW50 to save 10% off of orders of $50 or more and get free shipping. And if we have time, sometime I have a Holly story about some meat.
Okay. Well, we don't have time for that because we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss some things you should be doing for your lawn before the winter hits. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
It's time to get excited for our fall season. Tree-Ripe delivers the best Oregon pears, Wisconsin Honeycrisp apples, and Florida citrus you'll ever eat, directly from the farm within days of being picked. Their pears and apples can be delivered directly to your home, and you can find their citrus at over 200 orange stops throughout the Midwest. This winter, all the event details and ordering information can be found on their website, tree-ripe.com. And an extra bonus for you listeners, get apples and pears delivered right to your house with 10% off your purchase by using coupon code HOLLY10, Holly10. The discount's only available for home delivery.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Are you seeing fruit flies in your kitchen? Fruit flies love a fall harvest. They hitch a ride into your house on the fresh veggies and fruits you are picking. Break the breeding cycle with fruit fly traps from Rescue. Rescue fruit fly traps are reusable and an economical way to keep fruit flies at bay. They're the only trap with a no-spill design, and only the Rescue fruit fly traps are made in the USA. Learn more about them at rescue.com. That's RESCEU.com. Take the guesswork out of composting with hot bin composting. Quickly break down food scraps within 30 to 90 days. Find out more at hotbincomposting.com. Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Pro Plugger, Chip Drop, Bellbuster, Johnny Appleseed, Ivy Organic, Milkweed Balm, Walton's Incorporated, Bloomin' Easy Plants, Jung Seeds. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us today. We talked about in the first segment about watering those Mother's Day plants and flowers that we always see. If you missed that, you'll have to catch it on the replay. But Tree Diaper has a device that would prevent a lot of casualties when it comes to watering plants in pots, ground, raised beds, or anywhere in between.
Yeah, Tree Diaper is a revolutionary watering system that slowly releases water around the base of any tree or plant. As the soil dries, the Tree Diaper is filled with water from rain or when you water, and slowly releases water over 3 weeks. No more overwatering, underwatering, any of that with the Tree Diaper. Every time it rains, Tree Diaper recharges. No pipes, hoses, or electricity needed. You can water your plants and trees, whether they're down by the house, down by the road, in the back 40. Also works under mulch, whether you're a first-time gardener or advanced. Tree Diaper will improve the way you water your plants. Made in the USA. You can find all the sizes they have available at treediaper.com. That's treediaper.com.
Oh, Holly, fall is here in the Midwest, upper portions of the country. And I say that I know we've got people that listen in Texas and California going, we're burning up. Fall's not here. Fall's never here. For the majority of us for the majority of you whom are listening or downloading the program, the days are getting a little chillier. The nights are getting a little colder.
It's time to get spooky.
Well, that depends on who you are and if you celebrate that type of thing. We got to do some...
Just having fun.
I know. We got to have some fun with our lawn here. We got to take care of our lawn. Before the fall, before it gets too cold, there's some things in which you should do if you want to maintain your lawn. And some people are excited. You know, they are 3 weeks before everybody else to cut the grass, and they're 2 weeks after everybody else to cut the grass. And there's other people that that are 3 weeks, I'll wait another week, and it's good enough until next year.
My sister has become a lawn person.
A lawn person?
Yeah, where you like
really maintain and manicure the lawn.
Well, she's seeded this lawn.
Right.
And she's seen it through now, and it's nice, lush grass.
Does she still have the fence up like she's herding sheep in the front yard?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's because the neighbor kids come over,
right.
To keep them from that little area. But yeah.
So when it comes to the fall, some people, when is the last time when should I stop cutting the grass? And how high should I cut it? And all this. Well, we're going to cover a good chunk of that to help you out. Cutting the grass until your first frost, whenever that might be. And then don't touch it again unless it absolutely positively needs it, or your HOA says it can only be so high, or whatever. Within reason,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you get your first frost, we've had, some very
early
weather.
October,
yeah,
and then week before Thanksgiving.
Right. And then, and then, we might get a frost and then have 70-degree days after that.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that in mind, that you do that within reason, but you want to cut it until the first frost, and then you want to keep it at about 2.5 inches before that first frost. So the last time you cut it,
right, mow it,
you want to keep it about 2.5 inches. The extra height gives a little bit of
protection to the roots.
To the roots. Yeah.
You can should you dethatch it now or dethatch it in the spring? Well, you can do both essentially. Really depends on the time, how much time you have. Best time to dethatch your lawn is when it is actively growing and the soil is moist. For the cool season grasses, that's early spring or early fall. For warm season grasses, dethatch in late spring through early summer after the second mowing. And based on where you're at, depends on what type of grass you have. Cool season is typically in the north and warm is typically in the south. So dethatching is a form of removing the dead or clippings from the soil level to get it off in order to get more nutrients and or moisture to the grass itself. It looks horrible. It looks like you've just completely destroyed your lawn. But for people who are very into manicuring their lawn, this is a major step in which they do in order for the health and well-being of that lawn.
Right. So while you're thatching it, you also want to keep it watered.
And go ahead.
Autumn time rainfall results in less evaporation, which is fine. But if you're not getting enough rain, I mean, even here we didn't have a ton of rain in the summer, and we've had some
Wisconsin.
Yeah. We've had some in the late spring, late summer, early fall. But if you're not getting that rain, you have to keep in mind that your grass wants the water, so you want to water it up until frost.
Right. Back to the dethatching, you can go and rent a very expensive piece of equipment from your local hardware store, or if you have a small area, you can do it. You can modify or use a rake in order to do a low budget dethatching on your lawn. A leaf rake. In order to get down with some tines in order to pull that thatch up. So you don't have to spend $200 or whatever it is to rent one of these machines and figure out how to get it home and get it back. You can do it on a low budget. It's not a difficult thing.
Budget thatching. It's also important to keep the leaves off of your grass if you're a lawn person.
Right. But
you want to
wait a couple of days and enjoy it before you go in there and act like fall doesn't exist.
Well, some people don't want to.
I understand that.
But yes, if you want to enjoy the pretty leaves on your grass, I would recommend that. And if you don't, that's okay too. But that's kind of the part of thatching, raking.
I find it humorous that you can go to any city in America and you'll know it doesn't take but 30 seconds to figure out that house and that guy or that woman doing everything they can to get every leaf off the lawn. And then like 12 hours later, the biggest windstorm ever and everything from the neighbors have blown back in their lawn. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
And you know it's coming, but I don't know if they understand it's coming. Yeah, so what?
I'll only hear you one ear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so...
And let's talk about seeding as well. Seeding fall is a good time for seeding.
Right, absolutely. And you want to keep that in mind. You want to keep that in mind that you can seed your grass in the fall, and you can do this as long as you're probably about a month or 2 weeks before the first frost.
Right.
So, yeah.
Either spring or fall you can seed. The best time, based on your region, is simply the northern portion of the country, likely the cool season area, meaning the best time to plant the seeds, or in the fall. Now, Steve Bender, he's an author of Southern Living magazine.
Editor.
Mm-hmm. And he swears, don't worry about seed, go with the sod. Go with the sod. It's an instant appearance, and it takes it's much quicker for it to root in the soil.
Right, but
there is some preparation and expense to that.
Yes, so I think you really have to think about what your goal is in regards to A, finances, B, what you have going on in your life, and what's easiest for you.
Right.
So some people are going to seed, and that's fine. Some people are going to sod, and I think a professional level gardener is probably going to say sod, but somebody who's more of like a home owner gardener is going to seed.
Well,
and that's okay.
Your sister didn't seed in the fall. She seeded in the middle of the summer?
Like early summer.
Late spring, early summer.
Yeah.
So, and it worked just fine. So some of these rules are just rules that based on...
You got to live your life. And
right.
You can, and she's a teacher.
Yes.
So she's got time in the summer.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm just pointing it out that it doesn't have to be, I didn't get it done. I have to wait. And
No.
You can pretty, do it whenever.
Right. So you also want to feed your lawn, and this is important. You want to feed your lawn in the fall.
Yes.
This is like the key rule. It's like it's like a lawn person's commandment. So you want to feed your lawn in the fall, just a nitrogen-rich fertilizer. You can do some research. You can go to your local garden center and talk to them. You can go to the big box store.
I would go to the garden center. Don't go to the big box store, because the garden center will know what's going on in your area. They will recommend. We've gone to garden centers. We had an independent garden center sponsor local in the Milwaukee area for a number of years, and you would go there and say, "Here's what I'm wanting to do," and here's the product that I want. And it was an expensive product, and they were like, "You don't need that. Don't buy that. Come over here. Here's half the price."
But you might be talking to Jane, and Jane might be the native perennial person, and then she'll be like, you know what, you got to talk to Becky, and Becky's a lawn person, as opposed to sometimes, you go to a big box store and you got Jim Bob from Paint working the garden center that day.
All of a sudden we went from okay, anyway. But we've stood there and watched these people lose a sale to make the customer understand that this is not right to do.
Right.
And that customer, guarantee, came back and spent more money on other stuff than what they would have on that product that they were wanting to buy.
I mean, we live, 25 minutes away from that place, and there's other places that we drive right past that we could get garden stuff, but we choose to go there because of their quality.
And even though they're not a sponsor, they have always been good to us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So get your lawn. If you're concerned about your lawn, if you like your lawn, if you love your lawn, there's some things that you probably have already done, or like many of us, realizing that, oh my, it's getting cold outside. I've got to do 6 months worth of stuff in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
With that being said, Holly, fall's here, and the lawn and our days are getting cooler, nights are getting colder, kids are in school, and we talked about taking care of your lawn, but there's another step, and that is dealing with, if you had Japanese beetles this year, they're still in your lawn, and you've got to take care of that before the winter hits.
Yeah, just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles either. They may be gone, but they're not far. Not only do they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf, so they can start again next year. You can take a stand with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical beachy granule that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule with a spreader, irrigate it into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job.
Best part about it, it's the only non-chemical choice effectively to control grubs. And it's non-toxic to bees, butterflies, and other insects that are helping your garden and the environment. In fact, Grub Gone has no label restrictions around flowers. And you can get it at a discount by going to BeetleGone.com to get your Grub Gone, BeetleGone.com to get your Grub Gone, and use coupon code GardenTalk10 to save 10% on your order. Hang out with us moments away. Jessica Skoff, she is an arborist expert. We'll be talking with her. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
This week's garden tip is sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk. Whiteflies are another sap-sucking, soft-bodied insect like aphids. They prevent plant growth by feeding on your plants and sucking the nutrients from them. Leaves will look wilted and molted, but also become coated with a sticky substance called honeydew, which is secreted by whitefly nymphs and adults. Spraying the amazing Dr. Zymes Eliminator around, under, and all over the plant can help rid your plant of these aggressive pests. Dr. Zymes is OMRI listed, safe up to the day of harvest, and doesn't leave a residue. That helpful garden tip was sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk.
Hey gardeners, it's that time of growing season, so let's start canning. Head over to Fleet Farm for all of your canning supplies and jam mixes. In one easy stop, find everything you need, like jars, lids, canners, strainers, racks, spatulas, and funnels from top brands like Ball and Kerr. Plus, pick up mixes, sugar, and more. When it comes to canning, get everything you need at your canning headquarters, Fleet Farm. With the right tools, plant maintenance is easy and more effective. Ironwood Tool Company has the right tools for your project. From pruners to loppers to saws and shears and cleanup tools, get the right tool for this season, making your job much easier. Find them all at ironwoodtools.com.
Are you bugged by bugs? You need naturally green products, No More Bugs. Environmentally friendly, made in the USA. No More Bugs is a cedar blend that repels and eliminates mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, roaches, and ants, and more. No Bugs is safe for you, your pets, and plants. Visit natgreenproducts.com. You can enter promo code GREENTHUMB10 for 10% off your purchase of any size of No More Bugs. Protect your plants from damage with the 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Special Blend Fertilizer. Visit ivorganics.com. Use promo code RADIO10 to save 10% off your order.
Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Rootmaker, Dripworks, Pomona Universal Pectin, Phylum Bioproducts, Tree Diaper, Chapin Manufacturing Incorporated, Deer Defeat, Water Hoop. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Moments away, Jessica Turner Skoff, scientist and arborist expert. But first, Holly, Simple Grow, product to help your plants grow better.
Are you worried about your plant growth? Provide your plants with what they need to grow to their potential. Simple Grow offers 100% organic worm castings at simplegrow.com. Unlike other worm casting products, when you order from Simple Grow, you're getting 100% all natural worm castings. Order free. There's only one ingredient, worm castings. No chemicals or additives will seep into your food, and it doesn't smell like other fertilizers. For indoor and outdoor use, we can order by the bag, bundle, ton, or truckload. Check out Simple Grow 100% worm castings at simplegrow.com.
Well, Holly, let's go to the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods, and bring in our guest for this week.
Jessica Turner Skoff is a science communication leader at the Morton Arboretum in Lisle, Illinois. Throughout her professional career, she has developed science communication and environmental workshops for all ages, published scientific papers and popular press articles, and presented at national and international conferences. Welcome to the program, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we want to thank you for taking time. And not only you're about to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners across the country. And I'll start with this. What do you do at the Arboretum? What is your job, or what is your niche there?
Excellent. Well, my usual quip is, what don't I do? But I get to work in a lot of different areas. So as the science communication leader, I'm working with education. I'm working with our science and conservation team. I'm working with our marketing and communications. But my job really boils down to, I would say, there's a couple of niches. One is I get to do a lot of next generation outreach and inspire the next generation of plant enthusiasts. I also do a lot of work with the benefits of trees. So I wrote a literature review on them, and I'm always sharing the good word far and wide about all the incredible benefits that trees provide. And then finally, I would say that, a big part of what I do is just supporting our institution through helping with strategic planning, writing peer-reviewed publications based on what we need. So just taking the great work that we do and translating it for whichever audience we're working with.
Well, I want to follow up. You used the word peer review. For people who hear that but don't really know, they just think, oh, that's a science term, that I guess that means what they are writing is legit. What does that really mean?
So peer review, that's a great point, and it's just part of the scientific process. So whenever a scientist or somebody like me trained in science creates a publication, they will send it to an academic journal, and then it gets sent to other scientists or experts in the field to review it anonymously. And so since it's anonymous, they are quite comfortable telling their true and full opinion. And it's also people that you don't know or interact with. So it really kind of takes that bias out. So is the work, is it correct? Is it, can it stand alone? And after it's reviewed, and then it gets back to the person and they can make edits or changes, and then it can either go through that round again or be published. So it's the way that scientists make sure that the work is legitimate and as accurate as possible.
Fantastic. So what inspired you to pursue a career in science communication? I know a lot of people are familiar with what scientists do and what communication people do, but where did that niche come in?
Yeah, so I like to say that I graduated from the 23rd grade. So I got my doctorate in biology, and during that time I actually received the competitive FIPS Botany and Action Fellowship. So I know some of your listeners are from the Pittsburgh area, so I had strong ties there. And this fellowship was incredible because it provided hands-on science communication training. So working with people of all different ages, finding ways to make your work as accessible as possible. And it was during this time that I realized, okay, this is what I like to do. I like to work with people, talk to lots of different perspectives. And so it was through this that I was like, okay, research isn't for me, but this, working with the public is. And so from there, I was able to, there is a huge need for translating work, and I found my way at the Morton Arboretum, which is a museum of trees, and I just get to talk trees all day.
Well, let's talk trees here. If someone has recreational land forest and it has forest space in it, is it best for them to go in there and strategically move some of the trees under the canopy, or is it best to leave everything alone as if the forest was no humans ever was around and let it naturally do what it's going to do? What is the right answer, or is there one?
Well, I would say that with my scientific training, I'd say there's a lot of variables to consider. So it really depends on what you're looking for with the land. What does the land need? Are there lots of invasive species? Because if so, then that should probably go. What type of species are you trying to attract? Because some migratory birds need younger forests, so that's something to consider. What benefits are you looking for with the land? So ultimately, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to knowing your area, talking to people who know your area the best, or also have some understanding about plants and what your goals are, and then going from there. So I always like to recommend, we have the plant clinic at the Morton Arboretum, which is a fantastic free service we offer. You can call, you can email any of your plant-related questions, from houseplants to trees, and one of our expert volunteers will help provide the answer that you need. So, that's a service that you could look into for, if you're making plans and goals for what you want to do with your recreation land, that's a great resource. So, and they answer questions from all over the world, so they'll be able to help you.
And there are some people that would consider X tree a trash tree, and other people that would consider that tree to be important for their own personal reasons.
Yeah. I always, I think David Haskell has a book, The Song of Trees, and he brings up the calorie pear. And the calorie pear is absolutely a very, very commonly used street tree in cities. It's considered very aggressive in some areas, but it is providing a lot of benefits in the city for where it is. It's providing, habitat structure, it's providing flowers. So, one person would be like, that's a terrible tree and it needs to come down, but somebody else might have the opposite perspective.
Fantastic. So we're talking with Jessica Turner Skoff, science communication leader at the Morton Arboretum in Lisle, Illinois. So many people know the Morton Arboretum has a lot of Instagrammable opportunities where you have the large sculptures, etc. Tell us about some learning opportunities and other reasons to visit the Morton Arboretum, and why you can become more than just an Instagram attraction.
That's right. We are the champion of trees, and we hopefully inspire everyone to be a champion for trees. So we have things for all ages. If you are in the area, we have camps, school programs. But, we also have a lot of resources available online that we provide freely for our communities. We have classes. Some of our classes are actually virtual. So, we really take the perspective that the work that we're doing needs to be shared and people need to be able to access it because we want trees to be around for the future. We want to encourage people to plant the right tree in the right place and give it the right care. And we know that we're not going to do that if we're not getting people excited about trees, teaching the next generation about why trees are important and why habitats are important. And so there's a ton of resources. I highly recommend anybody check out mortonarb.org. And that's a great place to go.
And I would guess that if a person is wanting to do landscape or incorporate trees into their recreational area, based on what diseases are most prevalent, emerald ash borer, for example, you would advise them, hey, you want to steer clear of these varieties because they're most susceptible to XYZ for your particular area. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I would say, and the plant clinic is a great resource for that. Again, it's one that I'm always sharing far and wide. So, you can be like, hey, I'm in this area. This is kind of what my site looks like. What type of trees would you recommend? And I know that we also have, if you're in a similar habitat, the Northern Illinois Tree Selector, which is a resource you can find online that we provide, kind of going through what trees are available and that you can use in your landscape.
Yeah, because there's no bigger disappointment than they invest in a bunch of trees at a garden center, plant them, and then 5 or 10 years later get hit with something, and you got to start all over again.
Absolutely. And, we always joke we're on tree time, but, that's the nature of the game. You need to be planting trees with a 20-year out perspective as well. So making sure that, we really encourage planting a diversity of trees, really thinking about, again, the benefits. What are you looking for with your area? What are you wanting to plant for your site? And, just really having that long-term perspective can make a huge benefit, especially, like you're saying, with pests and diseases and everything like that, which we have resources on that as well on our website.
Well, let's talk about future here. What are some projects you are working on for the future of trees? And I say that and people will roll their eyes. Well, trees are always going to be here. That's what they do. They just grow. But what are some of the things that you're working on that would surprise people maybe that is important?
Well, I've got 2 projects that I'm super excited about right now, and one of them is to make sure that trees are here for the future generations. So we have a podcast, Planted, Finding Your Roots in STEM Careers. We're currently in our 3rd season that will be released September through November of this year. And this is a podcast that really plant science and horticulture have the ability to solve so many of the major issues of today, from biodiversity loss to climate change to food security. But we're actually not seeing as many people entering this field and working with plants and horticulture. So we wanted to highlight the amazing professionals that are out there, the incredible jobs that are available. And so this podcast really is a deep dive into careers. We talk to experts. We find out about how they got into their work, what they do, what's that look like. And it's an authentic experience that's in a short digital form that you can access. You can get a hold of it from any place you listen to podcasts. So that's called Planted, Finding Your Roots in STEM Careers. I highly recommend if you've got a budding, young scientist or plant enthusiast, but they're not sure what they want to be with what they want to do with their life. Highly recommend that. And then the other project that I'm really excited about is I actually received a grant through the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is we're working on looking at communities in the Chicagoland area, Chicago region. And, a lot of the areas that were the most impacted by COVID are also the areas that have the least amount of canopy cover. And, trees can provide incredible benefits like improving mental health. They help remove air pollution, which is important for, of course, respiratory issues. And so, this grant is working on making sure that these areas that don't have the canopy that have been impacted by COVID, we can plant trees in those communities with the people and really help to improve the urban canopy of Chicago.
Well,
So that's a big project that I've been excited about.
That's interesting. And Holly and I, well, I'm not a scientist and I don't pretend to be one, but it's interesting that statistic that the places with less canopy had a higher impact versus the ones that didn't. That makes you scratch your head and go, there's something here. And we need to figure out what it is and figure it out quick.
So it's all about planting the right tree in the right place and the right care and making sure everybody gets the benefit of trees, because they do so many things for us that, I think we feel it in our hearts, but we don't always really think about, okay, well, the research is out there. The research shows if you live in a community with mature, beautiful trees, taking into account other variables, you will be happier, you'll be healthier, there will be less violence and aggression in your communities. Your kids will do better in school. It's really absolutely amazing, the research that's out there. And so, that's one of the things that I get to do in my job is just share the good word like I'm doing with you guys right now.
Yeah, there's too many things to go, well, that's just happenstance. That happens maybe once, but with all this data, that's not the case.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one of my favorite parts of my job is, it's really great working with trees. Everybody loves them, but it's just a great way to be like, hey, you love them, but they're also they do all these amazing things that we take for granted every day.
It's definitely amazing. We've really enjoyed having you on the program and all of your great information. How can our listeners find out more and access all of this great information?
Well, you can visit mortonarb.org, our website. That's a great place to get information. I highly recommend you check out Planted, Finding Your Roots in STEM Careers on any podcast, and the plant clinic's another great resource, but that's all on mortonarb.org.
Well, Jessica, we greatly appreciate the time and thank you for that. Encourage everybody to plant a tree.
I love it. Thank you.
And when we come back, we will answer your garden questions, our garden answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use code 10TG22 to receive 10% off your order at jungseed.com. That code again is 10TG22.
Ship Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Ship Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account. Rootmaker starts your plants off right and keeps them going through harvest. From their seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots to their large variety of grow bags, 1 to 60 gallons. Their products will provide you with the harvest that you've never seen before. Visit rootmaker.com and use coupon code RADIO22 to save 15% off your order. That's rootmaker.com. Brought to you by Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardens, farms, landscaping, and more. Visit blueribbonorganics.com or call 262-497-8539 to find their products nearest you. When winter hits with heavy snowfall and frigid temperatures, your outdoor furniture takes a beating. What you need to do is cover it with custom protective covers from coversandall.com. They have a bunch of waterproof, tear, and abrasion-resistant fabrics to choose from, and each cover is made with waterproof stitching. Covers and All has a lot of customization options, incredibly easy design and order process to make covering any size or shape a snap. Visit coversandall.com and use code GARDEN25 at checkout to save 25% off your purchase. Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you.
The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Tree Ripe, Covers and All, Ironwood Tool Company, Timber Pro Coatings, Blue Ribbon Organics, Natural Green Products, Algae Men, Dr. Zyme, Happy Leaf LED, Rescue, Big Tool Rack, Hot Bin Composting, Proclamation Goods. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Another show almost to its completion, but there's time for your garden questions, our garden answers. If you got a question, you can certainly send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can dial us up at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-7469 on the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet that doubles as a wok. Best of all, the skillet and stockpot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's 2 pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less. If you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. Supply is limited, so order is now at proclamationgoods.com.
Absolutely, proclamationgoods.com. And Holly, you have an announcement to make in regard to next year.
Yes, we are very excited to announce that our sponsor, Rootmaker, from rootmaker.com, is coming back for our 7th season.
Yep.
And then they also supported us in our 2 years before radio on our podcast.
Yep, 9 years they will be with us. You can use coupon code GROW. You can use coupon code radio22 to save 15% off your order at rootmaker.com. Happy that they're returning for their 7th consecutive year. Longest running sponsor that we've had. Shows that the coupon code's working, that you are buying the product, and that they believe in what we are doing. Well, before we get to the question about Fleet Farm and fleetfarm.com, Holly, people are probably itching to know what this meat story is that you had.
Okay.
Have.
Okay. So back many, many moons ago, when Joey and I were first dating, Joey was like, I'm going to cook you some dinner. Uh-huh. And he brought back straps.
Which is a part of a deer.
Yeah. And he cooked them for me, and it was like chewing on a leather shoe. And it was like probably, I don't know, like what, our 4th date or something?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this is delicious, but it was not. It was not.
I mean, backstraps are one of the most tender parts of the...
What did you do to
I don't
them?
know. I have no idea.
I don't know either, but, we're still together.
That was your meat story.
Yeah, that was my meat story.
All right.
You don't seem impressed by it.
No.
Somebody will like it.
Let's go to this question, which is sponsored by Fleet Farm and fleetfarm.com. My jack-o'-lantern pumpkins are ripe now. What do I need to do to keep them until from harvest until Halloween? We're far away from Halloween right now. What can we do here?
So you want to leave them on the vine as long as possible.
What if they've already harvested them?
Then you have some options.
Okay.
You can put them kind of like in a basement situation, or if you do have room in your fridge, the fridge might be a little bit too cold, probably around like 50 degrees. I don't know what a fridge temperature is.
34 to 38.
Okay.
Fahrenheit. I don't know what I don't know what that is in Celsius.
I don't know.
7 in Celsius.
Yeah,
because we do have some Canadian listeners,
right.
So I don't know quite.
I don't know. Depending on the size of the jack-o'-lantern, if you have enough room in your fridge anyway. But yeah, so you want to try to keep it in a very cool area with a good ventilation, and then you can take WD-40 and put a nice coating of that on there.
Okay.
Especially if they're still on the vine, you can do that because it'll prevent the animals from
eating them.
But then also that oil acts as like.
For people who may not want to use WD-40 for a variety of reasons.
Some people can use petroleum jelly.
Okay.
And then
what you're trying to do is prevent that thing from breathing or potentially rotting, getting air to it. Okay.
You want to clog the pores, basically.
Clog the pores, yeah. All right. Well, that's hopefully that helps. And that also goes, and I know it's a guessing game. When do I plant my pumpkins in order to get them ripe, but I don't want them to... your 90 or 110 days be the 2nd week or the 3rd week in October, and you get hit with a frost that 1st week, and your pumpkins aren't ready then. think you'd much rather want to lean to, I've got them already ripe 6 weeks early rather than they didn't get ripe 2 weeks and now, when I want them for the jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah, it's
if
definitely
you're just meat pumpkins,
Yeah.
it really doesn't make a big difference
Right.
on that. All right.
I mean, you could just carve those pumpkins then.
Carve them now and then
Carve them now and then go to the pumpkin farm.
and get new ones and figure out what you did wrong the first time.
There is some tips online on
Yes.
how to preserve your carved pumpkins. One includes things like putting in your fridge, but also like doing like a bleach spray. The bleach will stop
Dunk.
Yeah.
All right. In your video, which we have many on our YouTube channel, which is the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, we've got 2,700 videos of in-studio video and in-garden and canning what you grow. Your video of canning what you grow, do you use certified safe recipes? Thank you.
Absolutely. So we use and I actually just recently posted something on social media about this because there's so many influencers now. And there's so many like
influencers are people who do
social media
for a living and get paid by companies to
like TikTokers,
right.
all that.
I guess we're considered that because we have sponsors and advertisers. I don't know, but
somebody called me an influencer.
Oh, did they?
Once. Yeah, I don't. Whatever.
Okay.
I think they were just trying.
But there's so much out there now.
Make me feel good. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot out there.
And people will say whatever you will listen to in order to get the click.
I watched this quote unquote influencer can tomatoes, and they put the jars on their side, and I was like, what?
Well, people often flip them, and there's probably many of you listening that either have experienced it or may still do this, that once the jar comes out of the canner, they'll flip it on the actual lid itself.
But this was on the side.
Okay.
I don't understand that. But whatever. So yes, our canning recipes are from either Ball Canning, University Extension,
SB
Canning, Taste of Home.
We don't just go.
We use like
this looks kind of good. We're going to add what we want to it. That is not how it's not how safe canning works. When you start adding what you want to it, that's how people get sick, or worse.
So you want to be a safe canner. You want to be a smart canner. And actually, I remember when I put that social media post out, there was a few people that commented about how they were nurses and they've treated people who had botulism, and it's not pretty. So just because Becky Sue, the influencer from Connecticut with her cute little kitchen, is like, you can absolutely can this. Where's her resource? Right. And you should ask these people that type of stuff.
And let's just call it what it really is. There are some influencers, male and female, who are as popular as they are because of either the way they look or the way they dress. Regardless of the content in which they're providing, they get that it's the image appeal rather than the information appeal.
Absolutely, they have that appeal that, I don't know, whatever is that they feel is good. So,
well, since I brought that up, and we see this very frequently online because that's where we live. People will pull the cans out of the canner and flip them upside down on their lid, on the ring. Why do they do that? And absolutely, it is wrong. And why is it wrong to do such? First, why are they doing that? And why is it so wrong? Why do you believe that they do this?
I know that back many years ago when people used paraffin wax to seal their jars, they would flip them over so the wax would guarantee to sit at the top of the jar, which would be the bottom of the jar, and you flipped it over.
Seal all the gaps. Yeah,
seal the gaps. I mean, we are so far removed from that. I mean, we're not so far removed from that generation, but we are.
Like science or not, science has said that this is not, don't do it.
Don't do it. Unless you're literally putting paraffin wax in your jars, which I don't think you
Is that even safe anymore to do?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not doing that. So don't flip your jars. And then the other reason is that if you still do that, some people have this theory that maybe it helps seal the jar. I'm not really sure.
You need it upright to allow the air, the headspace to vacuum seal or do what it needs to do. If you have all that fluid down there, you're not going to get a good seal. And some people will swear by it's not safe. Scientifically, it's not safe. Ball Canning says it's not safe. SB Canning, home, everybody says it's not safe. So stop doing it.
Absolutely. So don't do that. So we have another question here from.
Yes. Let's see here. How do you keep squirrels from eating the bird seed in my bird feeder? Well, good luck with that. No, there are bird feed mixes that contain habanero or chili powder mix. Birds cannot taste heat. Squirrels can, deers can. So by buying or taking the bird feed that you have and getting an El Cheapo bottle of the hottest chili powder you possibly can and incorporating that outside with a respirator on, because you don't want to ingest that, because it'll burn your insides out. This should help deter the squirrels from eating the bird seed out of your bird feeder. Or you can, there are companies that specifically make hot bird feed, bird feed. It's called hot something.
Yeah.
And that will help get rid of them as well and deter them eating your bird feed. Well, with that being said, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Did you miss any portion of the program today or want to revisit it? You can certainly do that by going to our parent website, which is thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and clicking on the Season 6 tab at the top of the page. You can catch all the shows that we have done. We've got a few more left. We go to the end of October, and then we shut off for the winter, and we'll come back in March on many of the stations that you're currently listening to us on. Yes.
Like 18 weeks or something.
17 weeks, something like that. You can send us an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we will send you a link to this program. You can certainly ask questions there as well. Well, tune in next week to the program where we'll be discussing how you can save your seeds this fall, as well as hosta maintenance. And our good friend and host of PBS's very popular program, Growing a Greener World, Joe Lampo, will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.